Yeah, I like when we start quick because I'm still high energy.
That song,
that song was out way before 2002, I think.
You're right. When did Armageddon come out?
1997.
It could have been 6 or 7, actually. Yeah,
I'm on it.
Yeah, you look it up because I don't want to.
Well, I got 2 monitors, right?
I got it.
Movie this Wednesday.
1998.
Wow,
that's exactly what I said.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. We're going to a movie this Wednesday, are we not, Sean?
Yeah, we're going to see Trick or Treat.
Good movie.
Great movie. Bridget hasn't seen it yet, so it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, that is cool. I love little anthologies. Oh yeah. Because Trick or Treat has like the stories within the story, you know.
Yep. And it's same universe.
But I love that little anthology stuff.
That's why
I watched one on Shudder. I think it was Shudder, but it was that little anthology with Squidward. What the hell is that?
I just watched something.
He's like a funeral home owner, and this girl comes in, and he tells her three stories, and then hers ends up being that one's fun.
Spoil it. I'm gonna watch it. No, I did just watch one on Shudder. It was the same thing where like it was a Shudder original, I think, and then like they referenced
the guy in it, Clancy Brown. Oh, it's called The Mortuary Collection. It came out in 2019, and it is on. I want to say it's Shudder, but I don't know. I think I saw it on. It's on Prime. That's where it's at.
Well, you guys know that I'm doing the Shudder A through Z adventure, and I'm logging all of my movies on Letterboxd.
You're going all out with it this time. You're going official with it.
Yeah, I think the movie was called Allegoria. And yeah, it's a Shudder Ridge.
Nice.
I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. It was cool.
Rate 'em.
It was kind of fun.
Okay, I'm gonna play. How do I want to? Let me think. Give me.
Record in April, the rough May, and the battle through some big injuries. A winning record in June, July, August, and now in September. And the Mariners knocking on the door to a playoff appearance for the first time since 2001. Here's the stretch. The 3-2 pitch, swinging a drive, deep to right field. Stay fair. Holy smokes, he did it. Off the Hidden Air Cafe. Cal Raleigh with a walk-off home run. How sweet it is. The Mariners end the 20-year drought on a walk-off home run by Cal Raleigh. They win the ball game 2-1, and the Mariners are going to the playoffs. Record.
Now with the best friends.
It's the sports program on TSPN with Derek, Zach, and Sean, who's been here the whole time. Head over to timespentpoorly.com and give the show a 5-star rating.
That call was Rick Riz, courtesy Mariners Radio. I wanted to jump right in.
We never do the whole intro anymore anyway, so.
Yeah.
We do the good bits.
They know where to find this stuff. Let's see here real quick. Things popular. The last time the Mariners went to the playoffs. I think I can play about 20 seconds of that.
I think it's 15.
Is it 15?
Hey, you were way under either way.
Well under?
That was perfect.
Right. Oh! You heard it! Well under.
It was well under.
I think at this time in the year 2001, I was still making sure I was getting home on time to watch Dragon Ball Z after school. I think that places me about sophomore year.
Was that the Cell Saga, right? Cell Saga was hitting hard right then.
Yeah. Still high school, maybe going over to maybe at this point though, more going to a buddy's house to watch.
Was it Cell or was it finally going into Majin Buu?
Actually, this might have been about Majin, yeah.
Yeah, the Cell Saga is like way further back than you think.
Yeah, Cell was like 98, 99, right?
Cell Saga was like I was in junior high. Junior high.
I was going to Jennifer Junior High.
Man.
I was in elementary school.
I was still
for sure.
I was still in Pocatello. I was going to Alameda Junior High, racing home to get to DBZ. And then Gundam would come on, and I'd turn it off to.
Oh, dude, I watched Gundam every time, depending on which series it was.
We were trying to get home to catch the end of Sailor Moon.
Well, no, yeah, my little brother loves Sailor Moon. I was a fan of Tuxedo Mask, bro.
Even though that is probably one of the worst characters ever created. Now it seemed at the time,
but for me, it was like. I was like, these are a bunch of chicks, dude. I gotta like the guy.
Right, and his name is just 2 items of clothing he was wearing. I'm just Seattle Mariner hat, Seattle Mariner shirt. Oh, it's shirts glasses. It's headphones glasses. Thank God he's here to save me. What's he throwing? He's just throwing a rose. Wow, not even helpful.
Yep.
He
actually was. I want to rewatch an episode now.
I don't know if he did a thing on that show other than throwing a rose into the ground.
He was just like
we're doing all the work.
He was just like a love interest too, right? They just didn't 2 of them want to plow him and
even though they're all children, they are all
dude. Oh god,
high school age.
That seems on brand, just given the location of the world that anime.
100%. So I just watched a movie on Shudder called Angel. It's about a high school girl who is a prostitute at night in LA. And it shows the locker room for the females, and it's just girls with their tits out. It's just, but they're supposed to be high schoolers.
How old is the movie?
It's like
back then they did that. They just cast like 22-year-old women to play high schoolers. That way they could all have their tits out.
Revenge. I mean, Porky's Revenge. They're all in high school. That's supposed to be a high school movie. That's not college.
84.
I believe. Man, I'd have to go back. I think pretty sure Porky and Porky's Revenge is high school age kids.
Oh my god! By the way, there's 4 of these fucking Angel movies. Ugh.
Oh, okay. So I
will. I'll do it.
I had a bit for the plan for this first part of the show. Before we get into fantasy, we will get there. We are jumping back into football. We will answer questions, yes, but real quick. I want to see impromptuly how impromptu you guys can play my game. I want you to tell me one thing from the year 2001 that you were into. That is the last time the Mariners made the playoffs. I gave you mine. I'm rushing home at school. Got to go home and watch some DBZ. I loved Blink 182 at this time.
I was actually, you know what I was going to say? I was going to say, Take Your Pants Off and Jacket. Came out 2001.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Man, by the way, this is the longest play-out drought in any professional sport.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Or in 4, the 4 big ones is what they said. I saw that online.
Yes, I know that is true. 2002, I was definitely playing like Madden with my dad. 2001 would have been when Madden 2002 came out.
Yeah,
at this time, the Dante Culpepper cover season.
All right, man, this is good. You guys nailed this game.
I played a shit ton of that. I was pretty good at it, and was definitely watching DBZ. And what else I was definitely listening to? I believe the Marshall Mathers LP.
Oh yeah, okay.
Along with probably Offspring Americana still, because this is slightly before. Probably a year before I would have gotten into their next album, Conspiracy of One, and Alien Ant Farm's first album.
Wow. Okay. You guys nailed this. 100%. And what a great segue with Dante Culpepper there and some football. You stuck the landing.
Are we going to disregard, or are we going to talk about 9/11?
Not yet. It's still October. No, it just happened.
No, but didn't that happen in 2001?
Yeah, it was. That would have just happened, actually.
Would have just happened, and we would have been talking about it in school every day, because that's what happened for a while.
Real answer to any of this is what was I into in 2001? The answer
was in
9/11. Great.
You weren't into 9/11. You were just upset by it and had to talk about it.
I was
every day.
In the 9th grade, and I hit those conspiracies quick, dude. In 2001, I thought it was a setup. Even then,
I was so naive in 2001, man. I
had no idea. I was
didn't know what conspiracy theory was at that time.
Yeah,
no, a conspiracy theory to me was that Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z might be a bad guy still.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not old enough to care, and I'm the oldest one of the three of us. I was a junior in high school. I think I was 2001. I was like a sophomore. Anyway, thanks for playing my game. Welcome to the show, everybody. Sports program. We mostly talk football on this show, but we had to take a moment. It's been a long time
here. The Dodgers clinched #1 seed, home field advantage. Braves
just tied the Mets last night. They're playing them again tonight and tomorrow, so they can actually take the division, force the Mets into the wild card.
Okay. Phil.
And the Mariners made it in after a really stressful couple of weeks where you thought they might blow it.
Where they might just be the Mariners.
But they didn't this time.
You know what I hate? I hate the CS Rise thing that people say.
Oh, sure.
Because I can't. They're spelling C wrong. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, they had so many. They've had so many slogans over the last 5 or so years that all of them have just blended into me at this point.
Well, when did CS
what's their
Rise
slogan?
CS Rise I saw Andy King post CS Rise.
I mean,
CS Rise.
Who do they play? Who are they going to have to play?
It's not decided yet.
Okay, they're still okay.
Yeah, there's games to be played. Like I said, my team doesn't even know if they're the division leader or the wild card team yet. How
many more weeks do we have then?
It's almost over, man.
Okay.
A lot of these teams don't even have another break between now and the end of the year.
Okay.
So, we don't have a single day off. We have this series, and it's interesting. We're going to get a couple. Us and the Mets are obviously both going to get to 100 wins, which is, I love when two teams in the same division do that.
That's what I was thinking. True to the blue. That's the other Mariners one.
I did watch a few Mariners games this year. They were the only team outside of the Braves that I watched the entire season. Where the Braves weren't playing in a game. I watched more than just the Braves play the Mariners. I watched the Mariners play a few games. For the second year in a row, I have a soft spot for them. Not a diehard, for sure. But I'm really happy that they made it.
Did the Dodgers break any records?
I was just saying,
Dodgers are just fine.
True Mariners fans don't even know how to find their games because they're on Root Sports primarily, and unless you have literal cable TV,
we don't have that.
It's possible to watch it. So, how I listen to the Mariners traditionally is listening to them. That's why I played the Rick Riz call on that one, because that is actually how I heard that.
Is that an AM station?
Yeah, it's AM 14. Well, no, it's 1350 here.
Okay.
And a couple of them actually have it as well.
Honestly, some sports are good on the radio, man.
Yeah, baseball's a radio sport.
Hockey's great on the radio.
Hockey's a good radio sport.
Hockey commentators, that's because hockey play-by-play people are the best. And they have to be because it is non-stop.
If hockey did not have announcing, I don't know how you would watch it because you can lose the puck pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As a viewer, you're like,
Yeah, I only know they lost the puck. I only know there was a turnover there because someone told me. That's how I know that the other team now has it. No, and I'm super happy that's back. I know it's still in the preseason phase. Guys, sneaky back as well is the Japan games are starting for the NBA right now. So there's a couple games in Japan this week. I think. Oh, what do we got? Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's what's really funny is some people like Dodger fans, people that have had good teams every year, they don't really start watching baseball until September.
Nope.
Yeah. If you're a Mariners fan primarily, or even a Braves fan until 2 years ago, we were done watching baseball by this time.
Yeah.
Our team is not going to make it. So we got our games in usually around the All-Star break. We knew if we needed to keep watching or not.
Yeah, if the Mariners, you had to watch them in March and April because that's the only time they're good.
I think Phil here is a Cubs fan, but I might be wrong. But yeah, so like I watched opening day. I watched a bunch of games opening day. I watched a couple Dodgers games at the start of the season, and then I've checked scores and stuff, but I have not watched this.
No, that said, I'll probably watch most of the playoffs, and I'll probably watch all of the series. Like right now, October for me is because first off, you could catch it on TV now. Like it'll be on every game will be on TNT or TBS or some Ted Turner thing, right? I mean, football, dude. That's why football's so accessible. If you don't have to have the ticket. You know, like you can get like as much with the ticket, but if you don't have the ticket, you have enough football. Still.
You can also go out and watch everything, right? Like, if you're a Mariners fan, you have to go hunt for the game. You got to go, okay, who has Root Sports? I'm going there. I mean, I guess where you live, everywhere has Root Sports, right? Because they all have cable packages. Here, you have to go find a place. And what they have to do here is they have to have a cable package and a satellite package because they might not have Root on the satellite package. So they always have the one TV that has cable. And I actually ran into that when I was in Chicago last week. We go, hey, can we get this game on 2 TVs? Because nobody's fucking watching baseball. Like there's baseball on one TV and football on the other on Thursday night. And we go, can we just get the football game on both? They go, that TV only has satellite, that TV only has cable. And we're like, can we like project it from our phone up there? Like, come on.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch that baseball game.
No. Yeah, even in town here, like finding the Mariners on TV it's scarce.
Today I'm watching the Kentucky Ole Miss game, which was a killer game. Both teams 4-0, both teams top 15. Neither team, like I don't want either team to lose. I want there to be some new player in the SEC. And it's 23-19 or 22-19, which ends up being the final score, but it's close, right? And they're like, we got to cut to Aaron Judge about to hit whatever amount of home runs. And I'm like, I don't care. If I wanted to watch Aaron Judge hit this home run, I would have turned it to the channel where he's doing that. But I didn't. So leave football on. And that's from a baseball fan. I don't care if it's not my team. I don't need to see Aaron Judge not break a record because they're acting like he's breaking a record, but he's not breaking a record. Right? Like he's not breaking the Barry Bonds single season home run record, but we're acting like it is.
It's the Yankees, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's the Yankees why I'm like, just don't put it on. Actually, that's probably like the real reason.
All right. So there's no real way to segue into it. How sick to your stomach were you seeing Tua get hurt on Thursday?
Ooh.
So
this is all I have to say.
It was bad for sure. The actual hit didn't look incredibly hard. It was a slam, but it wasn't like it was a brutal hit. It was a brutal reaction to the hit.
Yeah.
The Savannah Bananas clips, by the way, are they're still good clips, though. I mean, you don't have to watch a whole game, but if you go to like TikTok and follow their social media, it's pretty funny. They do a lot of silly stuff during games.
Okay, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, it's like the Harlem Globetrotters for baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I was like wondering what that was. I was like, I hope one of you guys can break it down for me so I know what
I know
talking about.
Right. I follow them on the TikTok.
Okay. I don't have one. So
Yeah.
maybe I should get one.
Well, there's some good stuff on there.
I just know I'll go down a goddamn rabbit hole.
David and I are same wavelength there. Yeah.
So yeah, the Thursday night game though, I mean, I think you guys might have stronger opinions on this. To me, it's like, sure, they probably shouldn't have let him play. I don't judge him for wanting to play. I think people want to play. And if someone tells them they're fine, I get it.
I don't have as much of an opinion on this situation. I just felt sad that it happened. I'll let the team sort out whatever they did. Whether he played too early or whatever, that's between him and the team. I mean, in my opinion, he probably wanted to play.
Right. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Did you watch the game where the first injury happened?
No, I completely missed it. I was on an airplane. So
yeah.
I heard about it.
I watched it. I watched them both happen live. The first one was like, I don't know how they let him come back in the game, man.
Right,
The first time. That's what I've heard. I don't know how people let him play the first time because I heard the first one looked bad. And I missed it. And I should have rewatched it, but I don't like to go back and rewatch stuff because it kind of like glorifies people posting injuries online. And
he fell backwards and just
I still haven't watched it.
Donked his head and then got up and literally stumbled.
You haven't watched the second one, Derek?
The second one, I the first one I didn't watch. The second one I saw live, but I have not watched it again. I will not watch it. I won't give injuries clicks online.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm the same way. But I did watch the second one in person, and then I did hear about the first one even during the week and how it was bad, which is why I was surprised he was out there. So I don't know about you guys for the pick'em. I took the Bengals. I had the Bengals, and that was not because I watched the first hit, but I assumed he either would not play or should not be playing. So as soon as I found out he was good to go, I actually picked the Bengals. I was like, oh, he's playing. It sounds like him and Waddle both should just be out this game on a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And it seemed like even Vegas knew because I believe the Bengals were a -3.5. So the Bengals were the favorite going into that, even though the Dolphins were 3-0.
So I'm high on the Dolphins. I had them picked. So I did not know that he had gotten hit prior to making the pick. So I made the pick because I was high on the Dolphins going into the game. Plus, we were punching down so hard on the Bengals last week. I was just like, dude, I got to go Dolphins for this pick.
Yeah.
I was like, just pumped up talking about how shitty Ohio is.
But I do all that shit for fun. Like I was like, oh yeah, screw the Bengals, and then went and picked the Bengals like immediately after like all that shit talk. So it's like, it's just for the show.
No, I know. I was just amped up. Is all I'm saying. I was all amped up. I was like, yo, I got to go Miami. Let's go.
Going back to last week though, that's a good point. I wanted, before we get into this week's pick'em, before we get into this week's fantasy, let's just recap last week a little bit. Both pick'em and fantasy. For me, it was rough picking these games. I think I got some like random ones right that I was kind of surprised on. Like, there was a couple I switched to last minute. I picked the Titans over the Raiders. I was actually like, even saying on the show last week, I might wake up Sunday and switch to the Raiders. I did not. Kept my diamond hands, stuck with the Raiders, got that one, or stuck with the Titans. I mean, got that one. Got the Falcons over the Seahawks. Strictly using my fan bias to slightly edge me in their direction. And then basically missed all what I would consider the easier games to pick.
I actually had kind of I took. See here, I was happy with. There was a couple of these where I was like still high on the Eagles, so I had taken that. I was surprised on the Saints.
So yeah, that's one thing. None of us took the Panthers, right?
This was the big one. This is what I was scrolling for. Sorry. I took the Jaguars over the Chargers.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did that.
Well, I remember you talking about it, and that goes back even to the Tua playing on Thursday night thing. It's like, yeah, he was cleared, but why play him? Herbert was the same deal. Yeah, he was cleared, but maybe sit a game. So the next time you do have a game, you're actually like recovered. I hear if you keep playing with these like rib injuries, yes, you can keep playing, but you're always going to be slightly hurt. Like you can't really heal up. So it's like they're just going to play him until his bye week and hope he gets better then. But I'm not giving enough credit to the Jaguars by saying it's all because Herbert was hurt, because the Jaguars just ran train regardless.
They dominated that game.
I also I did not take them, but on our show I teased taking the Dolphins over the Bills. And man, I wish I would have stuck with that one.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's
a good game too.
That's a couple of those games where it's like,
other than the hit.
That's a couple of those games where it's like, should have been the fucking Bills. It should have been Kansas City. It should have been
Bills. Like doubled them in yards, tripled them in time of possession, did everything you would need to do to win a game. And the Dolphins were just they had that run for the first few weeks where they just couldn't lose them. They always found a way at the end to win, which is I think a sign of a really good team, not the opposite. I don't think that's luck. I think that's like if you can have a third or half the amount of yards as the other team and still beat them. I think it just means you're really well coached and situationally you win when you need to. So the games that got me though were all at the end. I had the Bucks over the Packers, even though I knew that was stupid. The Niners, I had the Niners beating the Broncos. That's kind of like it was a 10-11 game. I don't think you can feel bad about picking that game and getting it wrong. But then the Monday night one, like a minute before the game starts, I message you guys and I'm like, God damn it. Like I should be taking the Cowboys, but I wanted to root for Saquon and the Giants, and I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I'm rooting for the Giants, but I'm also wanting to get the pick 'em right. So
I took the Packers over the Bucks, which I was thrilled. But I had the Broncos and I had the Giants also.
Yeah, okay. But you got the Broncos one right?
No, I took the Niners.
Okay, yeah. I think we hopped back on the Jimmy G bandwagon a little too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it while watching the game. I was like, I don't know why I thought he
wouldn't be himself.
Well, or just like he didn't play at all in the preseason or didn't play at all in the offseason, like he didn't play with the team. So it's like, yeah, he came into that game, which is usually what happens is that backup comes in late in the game and they usually look pretty good. I mean, it happens all the time. Like,
yeah, Bridgewater popped for a drive on Thursday, so same deal. Yeah. And then he kind of came back to reality. Jacoby Brissett's had that multiple times in his career where he'll pop for a game or two and then go back to being like 180 yards and a pick and a touchdown.
Well, Jimmy G looked good that whole.
But Jimmy G, and by the way, this is my second or third week in a row making some sort of like hot ex-boyfriend joke or something along those lines with Jimmy G. But it's like Jimmy's like that guy that you've always had like a fling with, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he's always been kind of a dog, but like, he's hot, so you're down every time, right? Like, exactly. Jimmy's in town. I'm going to snap myself off a piece. And then by the time he's done, like, visiting for the weekend, you realize, like, oh, this guy's still a piece of shit. Yeah. Like, there was a good day or two, but he's still Jimmy.
They lost because of what he did. Like,
yeah.
The reason that Denver is at 11 points is because he had a 2-point safety.
But they were also planning on trading him, so didn't they not even send him a playbook until 4 days before the game, like first game that he played?
Yeah, exactly.
They kept him out of the playbook
because they didn't know if he'd be out of practice. Yeah.
So
that's what I was saying is like I thought about it while watching the game. I was like, I don't know why I thought he would be ready up to speed with everything that they have planned, but
so
it is what it is.
I kind of wanted to do it a little bit different this week, if you guys are okay with that. We're still going to do the pick'em. We'll still get in all of our pick'em, but I've kind of realized, like, we never know how long it's going to go when we do some of these. We'll end up doing, like, a 90-minute pick'em, and by the time we get to the last 5 games, we're just like, fuck it, I'm taking the Packers, let's ride. Like, we're just combing them over. I think this will add us a little bit more of a chance to be a little more loose with the structure instead of just going right down the list. I want to know from each of you the 3 hardest games you had to pick this week. They can overlap. So say Derek says, I had a really hard time with the Titans Colts. We both have an opportunity to chime in. And then I also want from each person a game that they are calling an absolute lock for the week.
Okay.
And while we're doing this, after we do that, then we can answer some fantasy questions. That way we have the flexibility to get all of our games in.
All right.
Yeah. And whatever game we don't talk about during this process, right? Like none of us mention a certain team. We'll just touch up on those afterwards.
Okay.
Start at the beginning. Derek, let's start with you. Then we'll do one from Sean, one from me, and we'll kind of keep rotating.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start with the first one that I thought was the hardest one. So it was like I thought it was hard and then like easy, and then hard.
Okay.
So I was curious who you guys thought. So the Saints winning that game threw me off.
Yep.
So now and now I've been like I'm not as high in the Vikings as I was either. Like the losses hurt me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I actually had a hard time with the Vikings and the Saints. I went with. I'll show you what I did. We'll go with though. I did go with the Vikings on this. I still feel like I can trust Kirk on the road a little bit. I have him in fantasy though, and I'm telling you, he's better than Tom, but it's not a huge margin. I think he got like 18. Tom had 14. Like it wasn't. It hasn't been lights out.
No, and that's why I've been kind of nudging, saying that anyone who's in your exact situation should make a move on Jared Goff. But a lot of people did that now, so Jared Goff is gone. But if I'm going with a slow white guy, give me the Goff man. But I would also take Cousins over Tom. We just do not know when and if that offense is going to get going. Back to this game, I also took the Vikings, but I'm so hesitant. I think we're going to start getting more from Kamara from the Saints. I think Olave and Michael Thomas, that combo is going to be awesome as the season progresses. If you just said which team has more guys, right? Like top tier guys, especially on like defense or offense, but you just start counting them up, right? Who's better at this position on each team? You're going to end up saying these Saints have more guys. But I don't even know if Jameis Winston plays this game. That dude is super banged up. I'm starting to
actually.
Okay, Andy Dalton
I think
starting.
Dalton is. Yeah, I was about to say Dalton is starting. Yep.
I have my notes that he's probably not. This I don't like this. I hit David's spot on there. If it's officially there, but it's in New Orleans, and we need to. This is like an identity game for the Vikings.
This is in London. This is London.
Oh yeah, this is the 7:30 in the morning game.
Oh my god!
I actually 6:30 there. 6:30 where you guys are.
I set my alarm for 5:45, boys.
See, this is okay. So this, now that I know it's in London, though, it almost makes me go like, "Hey, it's in London. Like Andy Dalton will go be a star."
yeah, right.
He'll go in London.
The Jaguars are good in London.
Well, you guys know that Andy Dalton's huge over in London, right? They fucking love him.
That's not true, right? I don't know that.
You definitely made that up, but you had some conviction in your voice. So, no. So, yeah, you're right. I should have remembered it was in London because Good Morning Football is in London. They've been there all week, and they obviously have talked a lot on this game. I think it's the Saints. They're the ones who have been there all week, and the Vikings are the ones who showed up at the end.
Mark Ingram's been there doing interviews.
Yep. So I don't know if that's like a bonus to already be there practicing and all that. Or I think the Vikings are taking like the opposite approach and saying like, you don't have to worry about jet lag if you just got there and don't change your schedule. So I don't know. I don't know if that even plays a factor. I think the bigger factor is probably that Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback for the Saints. So I'm going to go Vikings as well.
I'm going to go Vikings. I'd pick the Vikings as well. And I agree with you though. That's a hard
It
pick.
is hard.
For me, I think just the obvious, like Bills, Baltimore, I feel like is a tough. That's like 50-50. That's hard. I even think like the Niners, Rams is a little tough, but maybe not if Jimmy G is going to be Jimmy G.
So then let's do Bills, Baltimore then, because we can probably we'll end up getting to that one. I confidently, and now that you said that, it may be less confident than before. I confidently took the Bills in this game, even though Baltimore could easily be 3-0 right now. It's just the Baltimore pass defense has been incredibly suspect this year. I want to say it's last in the league. Tua throwing like 1 billion touchdown passes and 500 yards in a game doesn't really help that. Maybe it's just one game blew up the stats and makes Baltimore look bad. But man, the Bills offense, is Gabe Davis playing? I'll let David. He was hurt, but then they're saying he's full go. So that's right. He missed practice yesterday, but they're saying he's going to play.
And I think he even said, "I'm playing."
But their defense is bang the hell up, right?
Yeah.
So this is the writing on the wall here is just absolute chaos, like offensive juggernauts, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. I mean,
you have time for fantasy questions, Zach?
Oh, blast me with one.
Blast me, dude.
This nice person asked if we can answer one before they have to get off.
Okay.
Well, hopefully they're still here.
Yeah, if they're not, I'm sorry, but we'll try to squeeze it in here.
I think that's well. What do
Yeah,
you,
Sean,
I think
I want to know who you would play real quick, Sean.
so. No, I don't think I would go with Jeff Wilson because of the Rams defense, and then I think I'd go with maybe Penny because it's the Lions. Who is Stevenson? Who's that?
He plays for the Patriots.
Is he the okay, not Harris, behind Harris or split with Harris, right?
Yeah, it's like going into the year, I thought it might be like 60-40 Stevenson, but I don't think it's been that way so far.
Yeah, I think it's been Harris.
I don't mind Jeff Wilson against the Rams at all, actually, my friend. The Rams defense is like bottom 5 right now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just division game. It's always tough. It's a division. I don't know. For me, it's like
you're right. Those games slow down.
Yeah, and then who do the Patriots play? Patriots play the Packers. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd say Penny.
Packers got guys everywhere. Every time I watch Penny play, as long as he's in the game long enough, I just love the way he runs.
Yeah,
that's like he'd be my go-to player out of this. But I don't know. I have no problem putting Jeff Wilson out there. That's kind of how I feel about a Niners running back who's for sure the starter.
Yeah.
Also, David said, I'd love to see Gabe Davis get some tutties. If Gabe Davis has a pulse, he's catching touchdowns. That is a for sure.
Big tutties. I like that. I like that word.
Oh, I love me some tutties. Okay, so for me, and it's good David's still in the chat. The hard game for me to start with is, and I exactly have 3 this week, so this is like why I picked 3 because I'm just biasly getting all my frustration out. The first one I'm going to highlight though is actually Denver at the Raiders, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
So I think Vegas even has the odds going towards the Raiders. Obviously the fans are clearly picking the Raiders, even though they're 0-3. I don't know if that's because they believe they're a better team or we just don't believe the Raiders can start 0-4. But I originally had the Raiders by like this time yesterday. I had switched to Denver. I just don't think people are giving their defense enough credit.
Denver.
I don't think their defense is
honestly,
getting the credit it deserves.
I 100% didn't. I thought the Niners, especially after the Niners' first drive, that first run where Ayuk went down and got a touchdown, I was like, this game's going to be fucking just a mess. And then Denver was like, nope. Denver figured it out and just put a stop to it. I picked the Raiders as well.
Okay.
But it's because I think they got to get a win. And I mean, all their games have been super close, right?
They have all been close.
Yeah. So like, and so has Denver's games. Denver's games have also all been close. So it's like,
the difference is Denver's finding a way to win those games.
Yeah, and the Raiders are not.
I took Raiders because I thought it would be hard. I thought it would be just not believable for them to start 0-4.
Yeah.
But if they lose this game, I mean, I know it's a little early, but this is must win, right? They got to win this game.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Even going 0-3 is already a hole, but 0-4 seems like might as well start prepping for next year if that's the case.
I mean, that was the Niners last year, though, and then they almost made the Super Bowl. But they also have Jimmy G, so whatever.
No, I agree with David. So last year it was like, I think the Falcons won 6 games where I picked against them. But my Pickem always did better when I picked against them. Like overall, the weeks where I was just less biased towards teams I liked, as in like, you can tell I'm being biased when I start taking the Ravens, the Bills. Luckily, they're playing each other this week, so I'd only take one. But if I start taking the Ravens, the Raiders, the Falcons, if you see me taking all these teams, you're like, okay, well, his Pickem's going to be terrible, but at least he won't have a conflict of interest while watching the games. I don't care about conflict of interest this week. I just want to get some Pickem right. Like,
yeah.
My rule.
Climbed out of the hole this week on Pick'em. Actually, I'm still in 8th place, but I'm like a game out from being in 3rd with everybody else there.
I'm just slipping further and further down, boys.
After taking the Bengals on Thursday, I'm feeling like I'm going to go on a run, but it's because I'm kind of sticking to the strategy of last year where, and that goes to this game. If the Raiders are a 2.5 at home, if a team's not at least a 3-point favorite at home, like at least a field goal favorite, I just don't believe that people think they're actually the better team. So I've always kind of used that as my starting barometer on a game.
Do you want me to do my my next tough game? This could be a silly one. But I had a really hard time. I'm still having a hard time choosing between. It's skewed here, but the Cardinals and the Panthers. I have no. Is this toilet bowl of the week?
Oh man, well, yeah. Hold on, you keep going, and I'll double check.
So the Cardinals. I don't know, man. I feel like they should be so much better. The Kyler Murray stuff is so loud and like it. It's funny when you watch the games now. Like after you learn everything about his contract, and the stuff we've learned over the summer. I feel like when you watch Kyler Murray play now, you go, "Oh yeah, he is just winning because he does just win because he is so talented." But he does make some like really bonehead moves, like he does, and you could tell like I think when you watch like you go like, man, he doesn't really know the plays that well, but he doesn't need to because he is so good. But if he did learn a little bit more, like, and he's great on fantasy still.
Right, he's a great fantasy quarterback to have. I almost made a move for him this week, or I still might real quick before Sunday starts. Sean, go ahead.
I did. I told you guys LaShawn McCoy was hating on Kyler Murray. Did you guys? He was saying that stuff like he's playing like he's in high school.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't. He's not playing the quarterback the way the quarterback should be played.
So one thing that's really crazy about this Panthers defense is they're just so damn fast. I think I've highlighted a couple weeks before, but like Baker Mayfield can be absolutely terrible and they can still win games. I think like all of his yards and like positive stats all came from like 2 passes. One was like
something to Robbie
Robbie Anderson week 1, and then he had that Laviska Shenault screen pass that Laviska took yard last week. Otherwise, like I think that dude would have like 170 yards on the season, and it does not matter because Christian's going just enough, and the defense is just always on the football.
Exactly. And that's why it's hard to, when it comes to a thing like this, it's like, yeah, Panthers are. It could be either one of these teams right here.
But that being said, it seems like they need that home run play at least once a game every week to win. Like in the game that they didn't hit, the games they don't hit one, they lose. Yeah. So I'm still going to take the Cardinals just because I think the Panthers can't be trusted. Let's answer another fantasy question. Let's just go near the top. Jacob Nixon, the Jerry Jeudy, Garrett Wilson, Romeo Dobbs question, because I love that question. I have Wilson and Dobbs on many teams. I also wish I had Jeudy specifically for the Raiders game because of that secondary, which makes this question interesting. Any other week, I'd probably say it's Garrett Wilson for sure.
Cover that, and then the whiskey Neat's asking the same guys. I don't know if that's the same person.
It's maybe the same person, and one's their Twitch and one's their YouTube.
But yeah, he's asked 3 times, whoever it is. Or so.
Listen, man, we got you. Here is the reason that I wanted Garrett Wilson this year. I think, one, Flacco realized after 1 week that he's a guy you should target as much as possible. But I think Zach Wilson and Garrett are going to be a like crazy, like good, bad combination. So I have them both in a league. I'm actually playing Zach as my quarterback, Garrett Wilson as my like wide receiver 3. And I'm super excited for all the touchdowns it's going to get, but there's also going to, if you're a Jets fan, it's going to be chaotic because I think there's also going to be some crazy interceptions trying to make plays happen between the two. But
so I have that same issue where actually in one of my leagues, it's an 8-man, so it's pretty trash. Yeah, I picked up Dobbs and Wilson off waiver within the last 2 weeks.
I do have a league where I have just Dobbs, and I'm playing him over some pretty good people. I think I had Keenan Allen out, so I was like, "Oh, let's pick up Dobbs." Well, and it was between him and Bateman. I'm even playing him over Bateman because I think he's so touchdown dependent. I like Romeo a lot, but as long as Garrett Wilson has a pulse, do you play that guy?
So you think over I should play him
over anybody. Garrett Wilson could be a wide receiver too.
Okay. Well, because I have an issue where I have Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in the same team.
Yeah.
And Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase aren't doing anything. So I got to do something. I'm actually trading Hurts and
if you have that combo, you just wait for it to be better.
I know.
You do not trade either of those guys.
Well, no, I'm not trading those guys. I'm trading Hurts and St. Brown for Murray.
Man, I would just
Amari Cooper and Clyde's Edwards-Helaire. I need
I saw that, man, but I would just wait for that lineup to turn around because you're going to feel so bad this week when all of them go off.
I need the running back.
If you have either Jalen Hurts or Jamar Chase, or not Jalen Hurts or Jamar Chase did not mean to say a receiver there. If you have Hurts or Lamar Jackson as your quarterback this season, you automatically have a 10-point leg up against any other quarterback. Never get rid of them.
I'm 0-3. I got.
Who cares? You could go on like a 7-game run with that team. Fantasy is just all about random coin flips each week, and all of a sudden your team can win 7 straight.
Is that 0-3 in? No, I'm the only 0-3 in our league. I'm 10th place in ours.
Well, so I am putting in Garrett Wilson. I'm taking your advice on that because that was who I was. That was my debate was Garrett Wilson or Dobbs.
So the only thing I didn't like about Dobbs, right? 8 targets, 8 catches, which is awesome. Dude's catching the ball every time he gets a target. You know, you see a guy with 10 targets and 4 or 5 catches, and you're like, well, the targets are there, so it's tempting to play him, but the execution's not necessarily there. This guy was 8 for 8 last week. The only problem is it was like 87 total yards. Yeah. Like the touchdown saved him. Like 10 yards a catch is a little disappointing, but also this is fantasy. He's probably your like flex 1 or 2. So that's great production from that spot. David's pick, Bateman, Dillon, ETN, Dodson. Obviously I love Dodson in real life and I have him in like 3 leagues.
Bateman. I love Bateman, but I've been playing the other guy.
Duvernay.
Duvernay.
There you go. Say it as wide as possible.
Duvernay.
Don't try to French it up.
Hey, I love Duvernay.
AJ Dillon with the bounce back week for sure. I'm not leaving AJ Dillon out of any. I have him in 3 lineups starting this week. Dodson, I'm still on the fence about. ETN, I've completely benched, but I keep him on the team, so my team name can still be ETN that ass. So I keep him there.
Yeah, you got it.
But I actually have a specific league where I'm playing Dillon as my RB2 and Bateman as my flex 2. So I think that says enough there for that.
I'm just panicking. I'm doing so bad at fantasy this year, and it's hurting me.
I'm recovering these last 2 weeks. It's been kind of nice. I had a really disappointing week 1. The only thing about Dodson is they're going to be behind per every other game that Washington has played this year. They're going to be behind. They're playing Dallas. They're going to get some 4th quarter garbage time. I'm definitely playing Samuel this week for sure. Dodson, like I said, still on the fence about.
Oh, I thought maybe you'd want to answer this one.
If no CMC, who do you got? CH. You don't play both, obviously, for the Rams, but I get that you have 2. I as the season progresses, I'm going to like Akers more than Henderson.
I think Clyde's Clyde's not having a bad year.
I would go with Clyde, yeah. I think they listed them in the exact order that I like them. Clyde Edwards-Helaire 1, Ramondre Stevenson 2, Akers 3, Henderson 4. That's exactly the order that I like them. David, you're totally right, though. ETN and garbage time could be the way. And I didn't even think about it from that approach. Like, that's if they fall behind. I think we're all making the assumption Philly's going to run train, and people aren't running train on the Jags yet this year. So that's the only thing I would say on that. We can't make that assumption yet. Derek, do you have another game that was hard for you this week, or did you've only done 1 still, right?
Oh, I did too. I did the Panthers also.
That's right. You did the Panthers.
Um,
I'm still on the fence about that game. That is a frustrating pick.
Yeah.
But I did take the Cardinals.
okay. So you guys, I'm going to stick with the Cardinals then on that. I think.
Okay.
I guess the other one, I guess I'm kind of curious
If
about.
you've done two, the rest of us have only done one. We'll get Sean
Go
in
for
on one real quick. Because, like I said, these might overlap by the time we get through 2 rounds.
I think I have a third one, to be honest. I think I
Okay.
only had 2. So,
Sean, do you have another one, or should we skip
I think the hardest thing with this question is this week. A lot of the matchups are exactly what you're asking. I'm like going through looking at these again. I'm like, oh my god.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Like
no.
Jacksonville, Philly.
Let me just throw out the most obvious one of the week. It's
Philly.
the Bears Giants. It's
Yeah.
the real toilet bowl of the week.
Yeah.
It is probably the 2 worst teams to ever have a winning record, and they're playing each other.
Yeah.
Which means one of these teams is actually going to 3-1. I want to know who you guys had before I even say who was my pick.
I picked the Giants. I just think they bounce back from that Cowboys.
I'm sticking with the Giants as well. I just think the Bears might be that bad.
I dropped Mooney. That's how much I'm.
I think everyone, dude. Someone. The league that I have Dobbs in, someone offered me Mooney for Dobbs, and I'm like, man, I thought this would be an easy accept that trade, and then you realize like Mooney's was really bad this year.
I don't know what it is. Are they just not cut? Like I haven't watched any besides the Hurricane game, the rain game. I haven't watched a singles Bears game yet. Besides that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I guess I'm leaning towards the Giants because I have watched their games, so I feel a little more comfortable knowing that like Saquon can go off and has been going off. But we're all feeling that Mooney struggle. I had such high hopes on him last season, and it seemed like Fields would use him as like his deep threat guy, but it's just
he's just not, and that's what he was last year.
But I don't know, man. Also, the Giants receiving core might be even worse. Like, it's really bad. At least, like, what we're going to get in this game, it's going to be Herbert versus Khalil Herbert versus Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Yeah, because Montgomery's out.
I would assume he's out again. Yeah. And not only that, but I think Khalil could take that job because he's that good. I'm just glad he's finally getting a chance, man. I really like him. But yeah, so I guess I said this is the hardest game to pick, but we all are taking the Giants. But I am really like, especially with that season-ending injury last week, like I just don't know what the Giants now have at receiver. And Daniel Jones already looks like he's like scrambling for his life every single play. So I don't know. Hard game. I think it's way harder than we're making it out to be.
I'm making a bold move this week, you boys.
Okay.
I think I'm going to start Trevor Lawrence over Cousins.
I like it. I also did you see I put in
I saw that. Yeah, I just moved now. So first off, I had Mike Davis still on my roster.
Sitting there.
So I'm like, okay, I got a free spot here. I'm keeping Tom Brady. I'm going to keep him handcuffed the rest of the season. No one's going to get him. He's going to sit on my bench. He's going to ride the bench the rest of the season.
Dude. Hey, dude, you see that cat back behind me, dude?
Yeah.
Hey, man, bro.
But yeah, this week, crazy. But yeah, I think Jacksonville, Philly. I think that's a hard game.
Okay. I agree. I think it's going to be closer than people think. That being said, if it's not, then Trevor Lawrence garbage time all day for Derek. And if the Jaguars do end up being legit, then you might also just get some touchdowns from like it's a win-win for T. Lawrence.
Yeah,
he's projected at higher points than Cousins is.
Yeah,
and playing the Saints, I think that makes sense. Like Saints versus Eagles, I think that's realistic.
Tom Brady, but I do not think he's getting more points than Cousins is.
Would you start Minnesota's defense against Andy Dalton?
Maybe.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. Yeah. I actually got less confident. I think so. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to play San Francisco's defense against LA.
I am.
Not. Are you?
Yeah.
God damn it! You're right. It's a division game. Fuck me. You're right.
I am.
Hello.
In 2 leagues.
Get me out of my own head. Anyways,
can't.
what do you think? Jaguars, Eagles? Who'd you pick?
I took the Eagles.
I took the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles as well, but this will be a game I'll go out of my way to watch. I think it could be a fun game.
You know what I think I'm going to start doing? I'm going to go against everything you guys pick.
Okay. You should do that and see how it goes.
I want to because I'm doing so bad. I'm almost last in Pickem.
And I've pretty much picked the same people you have. So maybe you should start. If you pick the opposite of me, you'd at least be one game above 500.
I let you know how it goes. I'll let you know how it goes.
You let me know how it goes. Here's some games I think we can blow past. You guys okay with me saying 3 games we don't need to worry about and pick them?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
Dallas over Washington. Any rebuttal there? Dallas beating Washington? Anyone think I'm wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. Unfortunately, I really wanted to be on that.
I want Washington to win.
I actually picked Washington though.
Oh, well then we can stop and talk about it. Never mind. This is why I'm doing this.
Yeah, I forgot. So this is what happened after Thursday night. I got really mad. I got really upset because I wanted the Dolphins to win in the Pick'em.
Okay.
So I went through and I switched a bunch of games. I think I had the Browns picked. I switched to the Falcons. I had the Cowboys. I switched to Washington. I had the Lions. I switched to Seattle. I just went through and I was like, no, I'm switching everything I picked.
You might have literally everything you've just said. You might have done opposite than me on this.
Yeah. Besides the main games we've talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I have the Lions selected. I have the Cowboys selected. I also have the Falcons though.
Me too.
Yeah. I don't know why.
So I wasn't. We can circle to that game eventually. Here's one more. Chargers at Texans.
Yeah.
Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with the bad week last week, even though the Chargers or the Texans could surprise us, they just they haven't yet. I've been waiting for the Texans to come out there and look like they're a better team than last year, but they have not yet.
I might have one more tough game, honestly. I didn't want to say it, but I'm kind of down on my boys, you guys. Honestly, like the Steelers and the Jets. Like I'm kind of bummed out. Like the Steelers, this is must win for me. Like at home against the Jets, like I need some confidence. If not, if Mitch is bad in this game against the Jets at home, he's got to go. It's got to be Kenny.
I have it as a must-win for them as well, but I also think that defense is going to – I think they're going to give up a lot of yards to Zach Wilson, but I also think that they're going to cause some havoc, as in sacks and turnovers. So I'm not super worried about it. I'm actually pretty confident they'll win that game.
I need to see Mitch. I don't know. I either need to see Mitch do good here and give me some confidence again, or he needs to lose and then put in Kenny Pickett.
Yep, I'm with you. Can you hit that blue crew, that bottom one? Yes. 1.5 PPR, 10 team, pick just one. This guy just needs a single flex. Curtis Samuel is an obvious choice for me because of that inevitable they're going to fall behind in that game, and they're going to be passing the shit out of it in the fourth quarter like they have all year. Pollard is also in that game, though, and he's just – I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another 100-yard game. Ayuk, 2 touchdown dependent right now because he's – without that, he's just getting you 10 points every week, which can be fine if you have a bunch of home run guys on your team already, but I just don't get super hot on that. I like my flex to have some popability. Bateman also has that. But outside of 2 really, really big touchdown plays, Bateman doesn't have a lot. So this is one of those situations, once again, where I think they listed it in the exact order that I would rank them. That's the second time that's happened.
Handy. answered their own questions.
You answered your own question, bud. Anyways, back to Steelers. I think they got it. But we're gonna find out a lot about them and the Jets this week. We can say that.
You didn't play the one I wanted you to play.
I got one more that could be close that we could talk about.
Okay.
Tennessee at the Colts. Colts have been bad this year. They have a win, but they've been bad.
I really thought that you were going to go that direction.
I thought someone else would, so I saved it in case I had a third rounder. And we didn't make it past 2, so there's my third.
So okay, but so have the Titans, in my opinion, though. They've also been bad,
which is what makes it so hard.
I'm still going with the Colts, but I decided to go because it's at home. That's it.
Yeah, man. Like Titans are allowing 28 points a game. The only thing there is that the Colts, I think, have always scored 13 points a game so far this year, and they are a taunting or whatever call it was against the Chiefs last week. That doesn't happen. They don't even have a chance to win that game. So realistically, the Colts should be 0-2-1.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. But
that was just one of those games where the Chiefs did that thing where they usually have one game a year where they lose like that.
The Colts just aren't getting it done in the red zone yet either. So I think we're going to have an uptick in offense from the Colts this week. Actually, I think we're going to have an uptick in offense from both teams this week. I would not be surprised in that. I'm only slightly nudging the Colts way because it's at home, but I think Tennessee has who's got the better coach? I think Tennessee. The rest of it's just whatever. Titans win a lot in Indy. I think that's, yeah.
Okay.
Sold on the team right now, though. If you had to say, fast forward 2 months from now, which team has the better record, I'd probably say the Titans. They win a lot in Indy since Luck left. Yeah. So
I see your point there. It's not a bad point.
It's tough. That's a tough one. That is. I should have mentioned that one sooner. I think there was one more game that I think I'm not super stressing about. Which one was it? I think we all picked the Falcons. That's what I was going to say. I think that's surprisingly one that. No, Lions at home against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really like the Lions in that game.
I'm switching to the Browns, by the way.
Okay, then we can talk about it. But let's just all agree that Detroit is going to do whatever they want.
That is one of the games where it's one of the games I came in and I switched when I was upset on Thursday night.
Okay, let's talk about the Browns Falcons then.
Yeah.
I just think Jacoby's doing a good job, man. Not to say that the Falcons aren't doing okay as well, but
I really like us against the run, but I don't like us against the Cleveland run. That's my problem with the game.
Yeah.
I think in Seattle, we played fast. They were to the ball. I liked seeing the defense. I thought winning in Seattle, regardless of the team that they have in Seattle, I think winning in Seattle is always big. It's Cordarrelle Patterson versus all of the running backs the Browns have.
And he's questionable, but he's good to go.
He's gonna ball out. There's no way Patterson doesn't play in this game.
Okay. I gotta put him.
I said it going into last week's game. We got a lot of questions last week about Pitts, about Patterson. I even mentioned Mariota a couple times. We got all those guys. I said Pitts would get going. He did. Said Patterson would keep it up. He did. I said Mariota would be a serviceable guy, and he is.
I'm going to pick up Patterson, by the way, in my other league.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know why after last year no one had faith in him, and probably me included. I don't know why. It's maybe because he's 31 and just became a starting running back in the league. But maybe that kept him fresh. He looks damn good. He looks like a top 5 running back right now.
Yeah, I mean, I took him in our sports show thing up maybe a little too early.
And I wish you'd give him to me for free.
Listen. I got some questions, okay?
Okay.
So in our league, since we were talking about the Lions, Seattle, and Browns, Falcons.
Yep.
I have a situation here where I picked up Jamal Williams. DJ Chark just got downgraded to out. St. Brown out. So I picked up Reynolds. So I have Williams, Jamal, Reynolds, Cordell Patterson, and that's my issue. These are 3 players I'm trying to between my running back spot and my 2 flexes. I'm having a hard time.
I think Williams is absolutely got to play RB.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
and then flex Patterson.
Okay, but then I also picked up Palmer because Keenan Allen's out again.
Who gives a shit about Palmer?
Well, he did good.
He gets the targets, but no, he had a play that kind of saved his fantasy day last week.
He had the play the week before as well,
where he got touchdown at the end. Yeah. He just doesn't seem to be a part of their normal game plan until they're down.
I mean, I got to play Patterson. You're right. That's just I'm being stupid there. But I should I play Reynolds in that other flex spot?
No.
With Chark and St. Brown out? Jared Goff's got to throw to somebody.
You're totally right, man. You're totally right. I don't know. I didn't realize they were both out.
But yeah, Chark just got downgraded to out 10 minutes ago, and I just did all this.
We covered that one already. David asked, when are we going to see more Algier? We saw more last week than the week before. He didn't play week 1. He played a good amount of snaps week 2. He got 4 more snaps than that week 3. Guys just got to do more. I think he's getting in the low 3s on yards per carry right now. But they are clearly trying to make him the second guy in and then pepper in a little Avery Williams from Boise State after that.
Did you do this one?
Would I trade James Robinson, Dalvin Cook for Kevontae Smith, DJ Moore, Najee? Wow, they're really giving the boat for those guys. Shit. James Robinson is always the most undervalued running back in fantasy football, and I'm one of the people who
you said it.
I dog him out every time.
And he's got a touchdown every week. I think
I'd keep my guys there. I'd keep my guys.
Love it.
Yeah.
Zach, did you say you wanted us to choose a Stone Cold Lock of the Century of the Week as well?
Yeah, I think I left a couple of those still available.
Can I pick mine?
Yes.
Like a must-watch, or
I think 100%
will win. 100% will win.
Oh,
I think 100% the Green Bay Packers will beat the Patriots at home.
Yeah.
There you go. I intentionally did not mention that game at all yet.
Give me an easy. Because I was looking through, is the only one that jumps out at me.
Absolutely.
I just think the Patriots are bad.
Mac Jones is out. Brian Hoyer is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
By the way, you know how much you hate Ohio? I hate Brian Hoyer as much as you hate Ohio.
I don't really hate Ohio though. It's just
you hated Ohio last week.
You were just 3 keystones in.
By
the way, I want that energy. I want 3 Keystone or 3 Coors Light, Zach.
Not happening today. Not happening today. You'll get it sometime in the future. Can't say how near, but not today.
I loved it because you were sassy. You were speaking from the heart.
Maybe when you make your tour de Idaho, we can do a show in person in Sean's new space.
We could do it.
The 3 of us would be fun.
We could do it right in this room.
But then we'll have 3 Coors. We'll do 3 Coors Light show.
Well, we'll drink.
I'll go pretty deep for you guys.
3 each.
We'll drink 3 Coors Lights before we start.
No, I like doing it during the show because it builds it up in me.
I do too. Also, it's the game of before the mountains get.
But that's not really what you were still drunk from the whiskey
from the night before. Yeah, that's what. Well, then I guess we'll have to replicate the entire situation. I didn't enjoy the feeling. I didn't enjoy the feeling that I had.
Which, if you're staying at my house, it's just gonna happen.
Hey, Sean, real quick though, before we get too deep into that combo, do you want to lock a different game, or was Derek too true right there?
I think that's pretty accurate. I think because we've kind of mentioned I think Kansas City will beat Tampa Bay for sure.
I was hoping someone else locked that game in also, because if you did not lock that in, that was going to be mine. So you should lock that one in.
I think that's going to happen.
I also have Kansas City beating that team. Kansas City shook me a bit with the last loss, but I still think Tampa Bay is not there.
To be fair, though, Kansas City and Colts always have a tough matchup every time they play.
So the problem is that the Bucs defense is shutting everybody down. Not that they'll shut the Chiefs down, but I think that they'll like slow them down a little bit compared to weeks past. The problem is that I still don't see where the Bucs offense is going to come from, and you have to have this isn't a Super Bowl. This is a regular season game, so the offense will still be afoot. I think Kansas City is a really good lock. I believe Tampa still is somehow the favorite. I think people just really, really like that defense.
It's just so funny because there's so many people I just still keep seeing, and I know people who are just like, don't count Tom out, he's not done yet. And I'm like, eventually we're going to see him lose.
Eventually he is going to be done.
Right. And
he's going to lose a step.
So far this season, it hasn't seemed great, man. He has like issues off the field and the retirement stuff. Like, I think this is it. This is it.
Yes,
I think Tim is done. I think Tim is done this season.
Tim Brady, motherfuckers.
Tim.
I agree with you. I think the big difference and the reason we can't compare him to maybe like a Drew Brees or a Peyton Manning who played late, but they were shells of themselves, right? Like they game managed the last couple of years, is that Tom's almost seemed to have gotten better every year for like the last 5. So he actually hasn't lost a step until maybe this year. And this year we still don't know if it's the talent around him or him himself yet.
And
I think we're going to find out as time goes on.
I think 100% it's not having Evans and Godwin. I think that 100% is the issue.
Sure.
He still had a Julio for a game too, and like, when's he going to have any of these? He looks great with Russell Gage, though. Like, him and Russell seem to be fine. It's not enough.
Who is their tight end? Is it so Brait?
It's Brait.
Yeah, Brait.
So I was actually torn between my locks this week. It was between the Chargers on the road against the Texans and the Steelers at home against the Jets. I think I could go almost either way, but I'm going to lock in the Chargers on the road against the Texans.
I'm definitely going to go with Pittsburgh as well.
Okay.
I would Chargers, but I know you guys are talking about Jets, Pittsburgh. I think I was trying to do a fantasy move at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I just Zach Wilson coming back in. He'll be in.
Yep.
And you said you're starting him with Garrett.
I think the yards and the touchdowns are going to be there, but I think the turnovers are going to cost him in the end. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's my thought on the game.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to stick with the Steelers.
This was so effective that there was only one game that we did not talk about yet, and it's the Monday night game, which is Rams-Niners. It's the only game we haven't picked, and it just so happened to be the only one that wasn't a hard game, a super easy game, or whatever. Like, it didn't fall into those categories.
I did mention it for a second when I went the Bills Baltimore, but I'm gonna pick the Niners because I have to. But I don't, just with what I've seen between, I don't know, man. I don't fucking know, man. You're right though. On the Rams pick, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
yeah.
I think this one's a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, yes, the Niners are a favorite, but it's at home. It's a 1.5, which means it's basically a pick 'em. Most people think it's going to be a field goal game either way.
And to be
great coaches, 2 great defense.
Their games are always close.
Yeah. This is gonna be a tough game, I think. I mean, I both these teams, it's a division game, man. I don't know. I think this is must watch. It's nice. This is Monday.
Agreed. So far on the year, just something to think about, something to chew on, which is why I was playing the Niners defense in 2 leagues. They have only allowed 167 passing yards a game,
Yeah.
76 rushing yards a game. That's like less than 250 yards total.
They have that run that linebacker. Is it a linebacker or is he? It's that who
Holcomb.
29. No, he has a different.
I've been playing Holcomb in fantasy because all he does is get touchdowns.
What is this guy's name? He's like Hufanga.
Oh, the other safety who just goes after the ball. They got a Troy Polamalu now, and that guy is a beast. He's fun.
Insane. I love it, dude.
I might with the Rams on this as far as the pick'em goes, but I still in fantasy have plenty of confidence in that Niners defense.
Hufanga.
This is going to be that's how you say it. This is like a 17-14 game. Whoever wins it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That is actually, we've managed to get all the games. Yeah. We got one more question though, and it's a Geno Smith, Marcus Mariota. Geno is going to throw for 300 yards against the Lions, absolutely guaranteed.
DK is going to eat, boys.
But I think Mariota is going to teeter on 200 plus passing and 75 plus rushing every game this year. And then you'll probably get a passing tud and a rushing tud in most games. So
Tuddy.
You're going to get some tuds from the boy. And you're not going to get the Geno Smith picks. So that's hard. I think you could go either way. But
I am starting Trevor Lawrence this week.
Matchup wise, though, I have Derek Carr and Trevor Lawrence on my team. Oh, we already did the T. Lawrence thing. I already read who he was thinking about.
I would just go with Trevor Lawrence, man. I don't know.
Trevor, baby.
Well, I don't know. Well, what have the Eagles defense done? What have they?
It's not bad defense, actually.
No, they've been great.
Yeah.
They're pretty much great everywhere, which is why it's interesting that only like a few people saw this coming. Like I didn't see it coming. Derek did, but I did not.
Honestly, Philly could be I'm like hopeful Trevor will be good this week, but honestly, Philly could have very well been my lock. I'm still high on Philly. I think they could easily win this game. I'm kind of hoping the Jaguars are good. And
yeah, I get why this person's hesitant against Carr though. Like the Broncos are only putting up 14 points a game. They're only allowing 14 points a game. Sorry, it's like you might get 250 passing yards out of Carr and a touchdown or two, but I don't know. Nothing jumps off there.
Not against Denver, I don't think, for sure.
Yeah, so I get why they're like, I probably need to go get somebody, but either Trevor Lawrence is the real deal, or they're going to be in garbage time and he's still going to get you touchdowns. But
you didn't play the song I wanted you to. The first song you played was the one I was high on. Dude,
yeah.
Yeah, you just totally like I was dancing, I was ready, dude.
That's from like 92 though. That was the one I was
it was a tester
in the waters with. Testing it.
What else is going on in the world, man? Nothing.
Well, wait, real quick. Neither of you guys think that Seattle has a chance, even now that we know the two top receivers for the Lions are out, and Swift is probably out too.
Yeah, I mean that should change everything that we're thinking. Well, I picked Seattle. Remember?
Oh yeah, never mind. You're already looking like a genius at this point.
I did pick Seattle, but I was angry. I was angry at the Miami Dolphins.
No, I'm taking the Lions at home. Seattle sucks.
Yeah, but they're out their top running back, their two top receivers.
And but here's the thing: is the Seattle is still out a bunch of stuff too because it's Seattle.
They're just they're missing chromosomes. They're
No, I keep that team, by the way, because Breece Hall's going to have some games, but you can't rely on him every week. Gibson's going to have some games until Robinson comes back, but you can't rely on him every week. I guess they're basically saying I need one more guy. I just wouldn't get rid of a receiver like Devontae who has that much upside.
Or Jeff Wilson. He gets the ball a lot.
He does, but you never know. By the end of the year, the Niners could have a completely different running back. It's just, I don't know. Then you look at what you would have with the other, like after that trade, you have Kamara, Connor, JJ, Hollywood Brown, and Curtis. Hollywood so far is just 1 week kind of masked the fact that he's had a bad year so far.
He sounds like he's dealing with the same issues I'm dealing with.
Yeah, they're kind of in a spot where they're just like one player short of having a team that you feel confident with. You know, like if they already had one more running back, they wouldn't even be considering this, I bet. Because if you're thinking about having Devontae and Hollywood as your two receivers, flexing Curtis Samuel, Jeff Wilson as a running back, you're just like, okay, who's my other running back? I think I might stick it out and just see if Breece Hall I watched the Jets game last week. Guy gets a lot of targets, and when he does get chances in the running game, he pops. He doesn't get a lot of them, but when he does, he pops. Jets are going to be dumping the ball off to Breece Hall a lot this year, so maybe he just eventually becomes your guy.
But yeah,
I might ride out what I have. I'd probably ride out what I have there.
That's pretty good.
They said exactly that. It said someone commented, if I had a solid RB2 at least, I wouldn't do this. Yeah. That's the hard part here. And Breece Hall is like teetering. Does he play? Does he not play every week in fantasy?
I mean, and Devontae Adams could just start doing Devontae things.
So I'm gonna drop them for the Vikings.
I would drop the Bears. I would play the Vikings defense over the Bears for sure.
Yeah, but I mean the Bears are playing the Giants this week. I might sit on that for a week. But we did mention playing the Vikings defense against the Saints. So
it's Andy Dalton, baby. It's Andy
Mhm.
Dalton, baby.
I'd be tempted.
I'd be tempted. I still might do the Vikings thing.
If I see Noah Brown, I say go with Noah Brown. Noah Brown is a goddamn stud, by the way. Okay, we gotta stop taking these.
No, dude, this is it. This is the hot shit.
I know it is getting.
Who is Noah Brown? Oh.
No. Sorry, they already have CD starting. I do not like playing two wide receivers on the same team. I ended up in a situation where I had McLaurin and Samuel on the same team, and it's so frustrating. One, because they both have Carson Wentz as a quarterback, which is hard. And then two, they play on the same team. They can't. And then Dodson's also on that team, so they're not all getting the touchdowns. Yeah, there's been a couple weeks where you can say fuck it and play them both. I think last week almost became one of those weeks, but then CD was just the guy. Once Dak's back, it's probably possible to be like CD's my wide receiver 1 and Noah's my flex 2. But I still don't like doing that.
Dak's not coming back, bro. Cooper Rush.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
He's also getting paid a lot. He'll be back. Man, I think that's it. Is that it?
That might be it.
I think we did it, dude.
Man, I'm pretty excited about that.
So much better. You thought that I'd be weak without you, but I'm stronger. You thought that I'd be broke.